Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Utah Valley University graduating class of 2017. ladies and gentlemen, the faculty of Utah Valley University. Commencement.
declare these proceedings of the 76th commencement of Utah Valley University to be in session. Please remain standing for the posting of the colors by the UVU Air Force ROTC Color Guard and the national anthem performed by Claire Golightly from Bountiful, Utah, who is graduating tonight with a Bachelor's of Arts in Music with an emphasis in vocal performance.
Closer. Harsh. Thank you, and please be seated. Welcome to
Utah Valley University's 76th commencement ceremony. I want to begin by expressing my appreciation for your patience this evening. Unfortunately, the world in which we live invites new and unprecedented security measures here. Thank you for your understanding. Tonight, we pay tribute to 5,054 individuals who combined have earned a total of 5,310 degrees. Thank you. If you were listening to the math on that, it tells you we have a couple of hundred overachievers here tonight. The various degrees and certificates we award this evening are a tribute to the tremendous commitment and fortitude demonstrated by every one of you robed in your Wolverine green and black. You bring great honor to yourselves and to this school. It's no small thing for an institution where 38% of the students are first-generation attenders that so many thousands of you stand on the threshold of receiving university's degrees. This underscores your character as well as the wonderful staff and faculty of this institution who work so hard to make UVU a welcoming platform for everyone to achieve student success. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in an early recognition tonight of our honored students and all those who've helped them achieve their dreams. We are also greatly honored by the many distinguished guests who join us this evening. Our proceedings will include remarks from Henry B. Eyring, first counselor in the First Presidency of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as will be noted later, a man with a storied commitment to higher education. We welcome him and many members of his family who join us tonight, including Matthew Eyring, who currently serves as chair of UVU's National Presidential Advisory Board. We will confer an honorary doctoral degree on President Eyring, as well as friends of UVU, Keith Nellison, Jay Brentwood, and Shirley Silversmith, each of whom will be introduced with more detail later in the program. We also welcome them and their families as our special guests. We're also fortunate to have several state legislators with us and are thrilled that former UVU student and adjunct faculty member, Governor Gary Herbert, and his wife are able to participate in our ceremony this evening. Thank you. Other notable guests in attendance this evening include educational and public leaders from across the state. As I read their names, I ask you to hold your applause until all of our special guests have been recognized. With us from the State Board of Regents are Nina Barnes and Stephen Lund. We're also joined by Greg Benson, Assistant Commissioner of Higher Education. With us from the UVU Board of Trustees are Chair Elaine Dalton, Taryn Chun, James Clark, Birch Eve, John Gapmeyer, Jack Sunderledge, Jill Taylor, and Duff Thompson. Finally, seated on the stage are all of Utah Valley University vice presidents and other members of the President's Cabinet, as well as every dean from academic affairs and student life. Please join me in recognizing all of our platform guests this evening. UVU's tremendous faculty is represented on the stand tonight by Faculty Senate President Mark Bracken. As a teaching institution, the faculty of UVU delivers the central function of our mission with an extraordinary amount of student care and academic excellence. Of course, this vital academic mission could not be achieved without the active and professional support of our outstanding staff, represented on the stand by Shalise Nuttall, President of the Professional Association of Campus Employees. On that note, I would like to ask Mark and Shalise and every UVU faculty and staff member, wherever you may be sitting, to please rise and be recognized at this time. Please. At Utah Valley University, student success rests at the very core of our institutional aim. Thus, it is appropriate that the first individual we will hear from this evening is Birch Eve, president of the UVU Student Association for the 2016-17 year. During his tenure, Birch has had an impressive impact, not only on the university, but the entire state. Birch helped spearhead a movement of student officers from across the Utah system of higher education to increase awareness of and assistance for those struggling with mental health issues, something that today affects so many university students from all walks of life. His efforts led to real change here at UVU and all of the institutions in our system. Birch, a native of Louisville, Kentucky, is graduating tonight with a degree in business management. It is my great pleasure to now invite President Eve to share this evening's opening remarks.
I don't know about you, but I'm so happy that this day is finally here, which is not to say that I've been unhappy in my journey to this day. It has been a great adventure, and as I arrive at the conclusion of this chapter in my life, I find that I'm filled with so many emotions. Life is like that, isn't it? The good, the bad, and sometimes even the ugly. I'm talking about research papers. During the course of my college experience, I've attended 3 different colleges in 2 different states, interrupted my education to spend 2 years learning Spanish in Argentina, and met and married a wonderful girl. It has been my privilege to have served as student body president here at UVU over this past year. All of these things have added greatly to my happiness. John Lennon once said that when he was little, his mother always told him that the most important thing in life was being happy. When he went to school, his teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. He answered that he wanted to be happy. The teacher said that he didn't understand the question, and he said that she did not understand life. One of the most well-known phrases in the United States Constitution, written by our founding fathers and considered self-evident, is that we are endowed by our Creator with 3 things: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In Webster's dictionary of pursuits, in Webster's definition of pursuit, it actually uses the phrase pursuit of happiness. What an exemplary idea to have pursuit defined like that, defined as the pursuit of happiness. I'd like to turn that around if I could and propose to you that happiness can be found in every worthy pursuit. I found great happiness pursuing my education and even greater happiness pursuing my wife. If the pursuit of our happiness is our aim, then is it possible that happiness can be found in the very thing that we pursue, and even in the pursuit itself? In my opinion, this is the very purpose of life. May I encourage you to pursue happiness by carefully choosing the pursuits that are worthy of your time, your effort, and your talents. I hope along the way you will also pursue empathy and understanding, and that those characteristics will refine you and deepen your compassion towards your fellow man. Abraham Lincoln began his second inaugural address by saying, "With malice towards none, with charity for all." What an exemplary lifetime pursuit. As we look back at life, I think we find that our degree of our happiness is directly related to the pursuits we chose, the pursuits to which we gave our time, effort, and talents. Identify those pursuits that interest you, that challenge you, stretch you, pursuits that even make your heart beat a little bit faster. Then earnestly chase those as if your life depended on it, as if your happiness depended on them, because it literally does. The poet Khalil Gibran wrote the following: "Happiness is a myth we seek. If manifested, surely irks, like river speeding to the plain, on its arrival slows and murks. For man is happy only in his aspiration to the heights. When he attains his goal, he cools and longs for other distant flights. Happiness is a journey. Don't make it your goal, make it your pursuit of a lifetime. I would like to express my thanks, as well as words possibly can, to the administration, faculty, and staff here at UVU, to my mentors, but especially to you, the students of this great university. To those of you I met and talked with, to those of you who shared your stories, your concerns, your ups and downs, yourselves and your friendships. And to those of you I never met, I would like you to know that in a very real way, you were always on my mind. I thought about your happiness, your struggles, and the quality of your education here. I carried you with me this year, and you mattered to me. My experience with all of you has fundamentally changed who I am and how I view the world around me. You have shown me another way, have given me a new perspective, and have deepened and enriched my college experience. And I will always be profoundly grateful for that. I wish you the best that life has to offer. As you pass through this milestone in your life and move forward into the future, may you earnestly pursue happiness throughout your life. And may you find it again and again. Thank you.
Thank you, Birch. And just for quoting Lincoln's second inaugural, I'm officially adjusting your GPA to 4.0. So. I will now introduce a few more of our exemplary students. Seated on the front row tonight are UVU's valedictorians for 2017. These students have distinguished themselves through exceptional academic achievement and have been selected to represent the university's colleges and schools, which may name a valedictorian at the baccalaureate or associate degree level, or both. On pages 12 through 19 in your program, you will find more information about these extraordinary individuals. Valedictorians, will you please rise? Please join me in a round of applause for this impressive group. Thank you. You may be seated. Tonight, the graduating class of 2017 becomes the newest generation of UVU alumni. With that in mind, we will now hear from John Gapmeyer, President of the UVU Alumni Association and member of the UVU Board of Trustees. Immediately following John's remarks, the UVU Wind Symphony will favor us with a special piece, Tantara, written by our own Kay Newell Daly, retiring Dean of UVU's School of the Arts. John.
Thank you, President, for your introduction. Class of 2017, on behalf of Utah Valley University Alumni Association, I want to wish you congratulations on your graduation. You should be so proud of this tremendous accomplishment. Over the course of your life, you will meet individuals who seem to speak with profound truths. Their words will echo strongly throughout your various experiences and will at times cause you to pause in reflection. In my time here at Utah Valley University, an incredible professor uttered such a truth, saying the following: "A degree does not make a person great. It's the person who makes the degree great." That sentiment is, in fact, what we celebrate here today. We're celebrating you and all that you have achieved over the last several years. The degrees that you've worked so hard for do not, in and of themselves, make you a better person or give you superpowers. Although some of our graduates, our EMTs, our first responders, firefighters, and police officers, probably come close on the superpowers. The degrees that you can now claim as your own are made great because you will infuse them with meaning and purpose. You will bring the skills and talents you have developed to life, and in so doing, transform the worlds in which you live, work, and interact. I'm sure that for many of you, the great question pervading your thoughts might be, but what do I do now? What does it mean to be a college graduate? The next 24 hours of your lives are somewhat scripted, with commencement celebrations and individual convocation. But what becomes your purpose at 12 a.m. on Saturday when you stand fully as an alum of Utah Valley University? I believe the answer to such questions lies in the profound truths of one of history's greatest individuals, Mahatma Gandhi, who stated, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." The degrees which you've been issued by UVU come with a new identity, a calling to be a servant leader, to put your knowledge and abilities to use in the service of your family, friends, co-workers, indeed every person you meet, so that their lives can be filled with greater happiness, greater health, greater fulfillment, and greater awareness of their own needs to show kindness, compassion, and support to those around them. It is the employment of your many gifts and talents in the service of a greater good that you will find the person that you are meant to be at every stage of your life. As UVU alumni, you are joining a large community of fellow Wolverines, go Wolverines, in which you have an opportunity to both support and be supported as you move forward with your careers and your lives. Look around you. Cherish this community. Be a grateful member who remembers all the many individuals who helped you reach today, your graduation day. UVU is a fantastic school because of the people who have worked so hard to make it so. Participating in this tradition by continuing to support UVU by living out the call to be of service to the world, a call that is truly the hallmark of a UVU education. If you'll indulge me one more time in sharing a truth passed by one of history's more politically intriguing giants, I would like to leave you with this final thought from Robert Ingersoll, who voiced the following: "We rise by lifting others." The greatest heights you will achieve in your lives will come by giving aid, physical, emotional, financial, intellectual, spiritual aid, to those who cross your path in every facet of your life. I know that Wolverines rise higher than others because we lift others with our whole hearts and the entirety of our spirits. Today, as the newest class of Wolverine alumni, I challenge you to be servant leaders dedicated to service in all that you do. Now, it's my pleasure to officially welcome you as the newest members of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association. Will all of our graduating class please stand? I wish each and every one of you could stand where I am right now and see this incredible sight. Now, in the Alumni House here on campus, we have a scroll that highlights our alumni pledge, which I'm now going to read. Wherefore, as the duly appointed president of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association, I charge you, the graduating class of 2017, to uphold the values celebrated in the mission of this institution from which you have received your higher education. Therefore, I charge you to go forth from this university as people of integrity, as lifelong learners and leaders, and as stewards of our globally interdependent community. Having prepared you to accept these responsibilities, I invite you to signify your willingness to uphold these values by each announcing "I will" to our assembly in response to the following question. Now, I'm going to say right now, I really would love an enthusiastic "I will" when I ask this question, please, because we'll have to do it again if you don't. Graduates, will you accept these responsibilities? That was incredible. Therefore, on this 4th day of May 2017, I invoke my authority as president of the Utah Valley University Alumni Association and officially declare that you are all alumni of UVU and will join with those who have preceded you, together with hundreds of thousands of others. You will always be Wolverines, and you will always have a home here. Thank you. You can be seated.
Thank you, John, for that stirring challenge for our new graduates and members of our Alumni Association. Thank you as well to the Wind Symphony, who will now perform for us Tantara by Newell Daly. That was truly beautiful music, and I need to ask Newell Daly if he will stand for just a second. Dean Daly told me that he composed this piece of music as a way of expressing his gratitude for an opportunity to serve at UVU during the last 6 years. Now, if the world were truly just, we should have commissioned a symphonic number for Dean Daly, who 6 years ago came out of retirement to lend his steady hand to UVU's fledgling School of the Arts. Today, 6 years later, Newell Daly is finally getting his well-earned retirement, and the School of Arts is regularly winning national and international awards across all artistic disciplines. And this year, we broke the ground for a spectacular new Performing Arts Center, something that was only made possible by Dean Daly's exceptional leadership and prowess in generating community support. Please join me one more time in thanking this man for a lifetime of service to the arts and an unforgettable era of progress at Utah Valley University. It's now my privilege to share just a few thoughts with you. There are very few sights in this life, and just a few, that no matter how often you see them, they only grow in their power to move you. Unquestionably, this is one of those sights for me. Although this is now my 8th commencement ceremony at UVU, I look out over this enormous sea of happy, promising graduates and find it even more stunning than the first. Thank you. Thank you for being here and what you did to get here. Now, if I were really wise, I would simply follow some outstanding advice I got for that very first commencement address of mine. Early in the preparation process, I hit something of a blank spot. I simply couldn't think of anything that seemed worthwhile to say on such an auspicious occasion. Working from home, I turned in exasperation to my then 7-year-old daughter, Gracie, and said, "What should I say to the students at graduation?" Without missing a beat, she looked up and said, "Tell them congrats, bada bing, bada boom, have a great summer." Thank you, and my 14-year-old Gracie now will be happy with that applause. Well, listen, I resisted such sage counsel then, and I'm afraid I'm going to resist it tonight. My apologies for the grief this decision surely inspires. Tonight, in a way quite different from any other graduation remarks I've made, I want to speak, albeit very briefly, about a thing, a gleaming new object on campus. Now, to be clear, in doing so, I hope not to add fuel to the fires of a shallow materialism that I think too readily infects our age. My aim is just the opposite, actually. For the design purpose of this object is to inspire in all of us the necessary virtues to live a life filled with constant learning, especially a learning that gives hope for all humanity to flourish into the future. Last November, UVU unveiled the Roots of Knowledge stained glass exhibit. Doing so served as both the culminating moment of our 75th anniversary and a signaling of UVU's dynamic new future. The windows, designed by Tom Holdman, Cameron Oscarson, and an array of talented artists from Holdman Studios in Lehi, Utah, trace the history of human knowledge through over 60,000 individual pieces of glass, populating 80 different panels that stretch 10 to 30 feet high and nearly 200 feet wide. They stand as a vibrant tribute to the human achievement in art, music, literature, engineering, medicine, science, religion, business, and government. One of the lasting legacies of the class of 2017 is that not only were you here to witness the unveiling of this magnificent work of art, but many of you actively participated in its creation. You were among the more than 350 UVU students who contributed to this massive university-wide engaged learning project as painters, researchers, project managers, programmers, designers, technicians, and installers. Tonight, we honor you for joining the 40-plus professional artists and 26 UVU scholars who together fashioned this inspiring glass tapestry of knowledge and history. Within these windows are images that reflect thousands of stories of inspiration and instruction. Some of them are very familiar. The Wright brothers, we see the iconic images of them, a couple of nondescript Ohio bicycle repairmen, but very creative, very courageous, and very determined bicycle repairmen who, after years of trial, error, and ridicule, gave the world one of the most transformative gifts in all of history, the gift of human flight. Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan make an appearance, reminding us that caring and creative educators can achieve miracles with virtually anyone, including those struggling with different disabilities. Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington in the Harlem Renaissance Corner sit there in great celebrity status despite living in a period of ugly racial barriers because their joyful and talented pursuit of a new form of music. Other figures may not be as well known to the general public, though they've not been forgotten by history in general. For instance, there's George Waring Jr. He was responsible for utterly transforming the practices of big city sanitation, turning the refuse and disease-laden atmospheres of 19th century American metropolises into something far more pleasant, healthy, and safe. We also thank him for popularizing the couplet, the substance of which some of you might still need to embrace. It goes like this: let no one say, and say it to your shame, that all was beauty here until you came. Think about it, it'll get funnier. There is a representation of and a nod to Charles Goodyear. Goodyear, who with entrepreneurial zeal taught himself chemistry and risked every single thing he had, including his own physical health, to find a formula to vulcanize natural rubber and make it useful, which he did. But failing to secure proper patents, he died financially destitute in New York while seeing to his daughter's funeral. It wasn't until 1898, out of sheer respect for his legacy, that a certain commercial operation in Ohio decided to name itself the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Emily Dickinson, although she was virtually unknown during her lifetime, is today esteemed as one of America's premier poets. With single-minded focus, Dickinson devoted herself to her craft, the brilliant and lyrical arrangement of words, producing thousands of poems over the course of her career. Yet for reasons we will never know, Dickinson did not quite publish even a dozen of these poems while she was alive. A favorite of mine is "Hope is the Thing with Feathers." It's featured in the Roots of Knowledge, copied in her own handwriting. It reads, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash this little bird that kept many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me." Surely it was just this sense of hope like a bird that constantly rises and sings in the chillest lands and strangest seas, that kept this highly reclusive, often melancholy, perhaps even depressive genius moving into a life of greatness that would only be recognized long after her death. And such is the hope that you might have to cling to in the days and years ahead to keep you warm and to keep you lifted as the inevitable gales and source storms of life come your way. Furthermore, this is the hope that you can contribute to by taking your UVU education and becoming an active, energetic, lifelong learner and contributor to the interlocking forces of human endeavor and understanding. In the remarkable work of art we are discussing tonight, literally thousands of individuals and achievements are woven together by the images of intertwined roots running along the bottom panels with intertwined branches running along the top. The roots shoot out from the tree of knowledge that fills the first panel, and the branches shoot out from the tree of hope with its fiery, flaming leaves gracing the final panel. The imagery here is manifold and meaning. It especially highlights the way that knowledge always builds upon knowledge, that we all live together in a kind of intellectual, social ecosystem, constantly sharing and benefit from ideas and inventions that cut across geographies and cultures, and that all this leaves us is dependent upon those who went before us and responsible to those who will come after us. Ultimately, it suggests that when we act thoughtfully and creatively and accurately, we produce knowledge and advancements that effectively provide us with a burning torch of hope to light our way into an always uncertain future. These same themes are underscored in a myriad of ways in the windows. One way seems particularly fitting to call out tonight, given that we will shortly be honoring Shirley Silversmith. The woman pictured here is not anyone famous or known to history, but she does represent a whole category of people who stand for the power and beauty of indigenous ways of knowing, creating, and being. Navajo weavers are noted for being connected to every aspect of the weaving process, from using the wool from their own sheep to making their own dyes. While the effort begins with seemingly unimpressive spools of yarn being woven on handmade looms, the vibrant colors and intricate, sophisticated patterns of the final product are now known and earnestly sought for all across the world. To achieve this outcome, however, requires lengthy, tedious work. For the Navajo weaver, the minute-by-minute, hour-by-hour, day-by-day process is essential to bring everything together in a way that achieves stunning designs and further invests the product with deep human value and meaning. So it is with all of you here. No doubt there were many of your assignments, classes, semesters, and years at UVU that at times felt long and tedious. But tonight is the night that you get to look back and see something far grander than the most beautifully woven tapestry or set of stained glass windows. You get to see a newly fashioned human you. Now, you may have come here with ordinary abilities. You might have even wondered if you could even finish something as daunting as a college degree, but you've done it. And because the effects have developed so painstakingly, you may not even see fully tonight what has happened to you in the course of your education. But I can tell you. You see with wider eyes and speak with clearer tongues. You think with more depth and analyze with more clarity. You hear with more sensitive ears and walk with a more confident step. You have developed into a most impressive individual, and that's a good thing for you. But it's an even greater thing for the rest of us. Like the thread of a Navajo blanket, or the single piece of glass in a magnificent 60,000-piece masterwork, you are essential. Whether you go on to national and international fame in education, business, government, the arts, athletics, as I have previously predicted that you will, or whether you stay right here in Utah Valley University, in our valley, raising a family, teaching school, fixing cars, running a manufacturing line, you are critically needed. You were already unique and essential to begin with, but now, burnished by the long, powerful effects of a UVU degree, you stand even more vibrant and powerful carriers of the flame of hope. You are a sight to behold. I am magnificently proud of you, and look to the future with even more confidence than ever because of you. Thank you so very much. It's a signal honor for me now to introduce our featured speaker for tonight's ceremony. President Henry B. Eyring has held numerous senior leadership positions in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and currently serves as first counselor in the First Presidency, the highest governing body of that ecclesiastical organization, now roughly 16 million members strong worldwide. This New Jersey native is also known for his academic accomplishments. In addition to serving 2 stints as Commissioner of Education for all seminaries, institutes, colleges, and universities operated by the LDS Church, he was president of Ricks College, present-day Brigham Young University, Idaho, from 1971 to 1977. Before that, he was a tenured faculty member in the Graduate School of Business at Stanford University from 1962 to 1971. He was also a Sloan Visiting Faculty Fellow at MIT. President Eyring earned a bachelor's degree in physics from the University of Utah and a master's degree and doctoral degrees in business administration from Harvard Business School. I will also add, from both public and private observation, that President Eyring's impressive leadership positions, academic accomplishments, and erudite training are only exceeded by his personal modesty and deep emotional concern for all those who come in contact with him and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, President Henry B. Eyring.
I am grateful to participate in this ceremony to honor those receiving degrees today. However, my part as a speaker in this program is made somewhat difficult because of the kind choice the university made to confer a degree on me, albeit honorary, in the same ceremony. You can see my problem. Since I must try both to accept with gratitude and to motivate you with enthusiasm, generally the speaker is expected to urge the graduates onward to great accomplishment in a satisfying life. But that is a future that neither the graduates nor the speaker can see clearly. More than that, the lessons the speaker thinks were learned through his or her long life may not apply to today's graduates in the unseen future before them. So I will take the only safe route I can see today. I will point out what you have already learned in your education at this university. If I do it well, that will give you encouragement and the advice enough. And I will then have discharged my speaker's obligation so long as I keep it short. First, your experiences here have changed you and the way you see yourself. You have done hard things, more difficult than you thought you could do. Time after time, you have found that with sustained effort, you have surprised yourself with new power to do good things. You have discovered that you have gifts you didn't know you had. Second, you have changed in the way you see other people. You have discovered that your increased power to do hard things comes largely through the influence of others. You came to appreciate the unselfishness of the people around you. You began to see people more as allies than as competitors. I imagine those changes came to you in the same way they did for me. Like yours, my change in perspective began in classes in which I felt completely overwhelmed. My father, himself a scientist, urged me to study physics and mathematics as an undergraduate. He said that he saw great changes coming in technology that would reshape the world that I would live in. And so I, like you, found myself trying to do hard things, things that seemed to me far beyond my abilities. But my father and my teachers gave me the same hard advice. Hal, you'll never amount to anything until you learn to work until your ears ring. Incidentally, as I grow older, my ears ring whether I work hard or not. So the advice no longer helps. It took years and many universities for change to come in the way I saw myself. I discovered what you have learned in this university. Steady effort will help you to discover gifts you did not know were in you. Your capacity to make that sustained effort has come primarily through the help of others. You have had teachers here, as I had in more than one university, who believed in your ability to do things beyond what seemed to you to be reasonable. You may remember, as I do, a teacher who saw promise in your imperfect efforts. For me, that moment was when I turned in an examination paper to a distinguished, a world-famous economist. One of the essay questions was to describe what is called the multiplier effect in an economy. Now, many of you may know what the multiplier effect is, but I didn't. I used the little physics I knew to create an answer to the question. Rather than giving me a failing grade, which my inventive answer deserved, the professor called me to his office. I will carry with me forever the feeling of growing courage that came from his response. He said that he saw great promise in my creative and terribly wrong answer. He gave the paper the highest grade. But more important than the grade he gave was the way he changed how I saw my own potential to do things. I also saw in him a person who cared more about me than about economics, a discipline that he dearly loved. In your life in this university, you have found the courage to keep working until your ears ring because of the confidence others have had in you. You may even have had the experience I had with my father, who was my constant tutor. He was himself a greatly honored scientist. Yet he said to me when I received a small recognition for success, Hal, when you win, I win. This university is blessed with such people. They feel achievement in the accomplishment of their students and colleagues that they have helped. And because of their influence, you have been changed in your growing confidence that with steady effort, you can do harder and better things than you thought possible. I see in this university what my father was trying to teach me after I had been a student and a teacher in 4 universities, some of them renowned for their accomplished graduates. I was visiting with him in his home. In a kindly voice, I thought he was going to praise me for my great accomplishments. He said, Hal, you have a problem. You think education is where you have been. Education is what you can do. This university has in its very DNA the capacity to help people do things they thought were above and beyond their abilities. It began many years ago as a vocational school where people were given confidence to do things that seemed too hard for them. Just a few days ago, I spoke with a man who graduated from that technical school. He studied automotive bodywork. He has built businesses and served as a leader in efforts to bless people across many nations. My opportunity was to invite him to do something but beyond what he now sees as his abilities, but he accepted with confidence, in large part, because of what people here did for him as a young man, like what others have done here for you graduates. I have every confidence that this university will continue to grow in its influence to help people gain the power to do good things in spite of whatever obstacles they face. I am sure of that future. I asked President Holland for information about the university so that I could understand it better to prepare my remarks for today. To my surprise, rather than providing facts about the great growth in the numbers and in measures of academic quality, he sent me stories about some of you and about others who have recently graduated. Every story was of a person who came here faced with challenges beyond any I have ever faced, and yet who achieved beyond what he or she could reasonably have expected. I won't tell the stories publicly out of respect for those seated before me, and because of my inability to do them adequate honor. But I will never forget their stories, nor will President Holland, who will one day look back on his service here, remembering them and the brave experiences of other graduates whose successes felt to him as if they were his own. My guess is that when he gets to the stage where I am now, he will thumb through scrapbooks for memories that will give him satisfaction. Some of the books will feature pictures of a growing campus, more impressive than the presidents who went before him could have imagined. Other scrapbooks will catalog impressive accomplishments. Some will feature academic improvements and recognitions. But I am confident that the scrapbook he will open most often will be the one with photos and short accounts of the lives of you graduates. Oh, the favorite scrapbook will also have pictures of him and his family, but only because he found his joy with them as he did with you, in seeing each become better than he or she imagined they could. And there will be some pictures of the people who taught and served here, who thought as President Holland did, that greatness and happiness come from helping people believe that they can become better, and then seeing them do it. As he looks over those faces, he will think, thank you, and perhaps feel a touch of surprise that he was invited to be part of something as great as what is happening in this place. Now, you will not be surprised by my advice about what you should do as you move from graduation into your hard-to-see future, nor will you wonder where I believe you will find the greatest happiness. You will see more alternatives ahead than you can follow. They may be to seek more schooling or a job or a career path. Which one you choose will matter less than does the courage you found and increased here. That courage guarantees that with hard work, you can grow in your capacity to learn to do anything better. So your life plan will be to do whatever tasks you undertake with the confidence that with hard work, it will lead to more alternatives yet to appear, yet to be offered to you. As you persist in learning how to do better and better each task you undertake, you will have more exciting alternatives presented to you. Rapid change is not the enemy of a great learner. Instead, it is the source of new opportunities for you to learn and to do. Now, you will not find your greatest happiness in your own growing capacity to do things, however much recognition you receive, nor will you find it in how much you become able to contribute to the world. Public recognition, praise, and honors will in time seem to diminish in their power to bring you real satisfaction. In the long run, and even in the middle run. The happiness that lasts will come as you feel the joy of those you loved and lifted, and as their happiness becomes your own. For that reason alone, you'll want to seek a place in marriages, families, communities, and organizations where people put the interests of others, at least slightly, but regularly, above their own. Be grateful when you are invited into such a group of people. It is a rare and precious opportunity. You would be wise to say thank you whenever you are invited into such a setting, even for a moment. This university commencement is such a place and time, and so I am honored to have been invited for just an evening. Your honorary degree to me was a generous addition to that invitation. But the greatest honor goes to all of you tonight. I express appreciation for your letting me feel the spirit of this learning community. I will take courage from my experience with you and will treasure happy reports about your futures, and will find happiness in the happiness you feel as you lift others. I wish you great accomplishments and lasting joy, and I thank you.
Thank you, President Eyring, for such thoughtful words of insight and inspiration for this graduating class and for our entire university community. I'll now invite Trustee Chair Elaine Dalton to come forward, along with President Eyring, to receive the first of our honorary degrees.
Whereas President Henry B. Eyring's academic endeavors have led him to earn a bachelor's degree in physics from the University of Utah, a master's degree of business administration and doctorate of business administration from Harvard University, and whereas his teaching and leadership skills resulted in the tenured faculty position at the Graduate School of Business at Stanford University before he led the present BYU Idaho as its president, directly shaping and influencing a generation of students. And whereas he served as commissioner of the church educational system of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, overseeing the efforts worldwide of institutes, seminaries, BYU, BYU Idaho, BYU Hawaii, and LDS Business College. And whereas he has been a strong champion of higher education in general and the increased opportunities education can bring to individuals, families, and communities all around the world. And whereas his unceasing desire to improve the human condition has resulted in a lifetime of service and devotion to spiritual and religious matters, the strengthening of families, and the relief of the poor. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Utah Valley University hereby confers upon President Henry B. Eyring the Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters, realized this 4th day of May, 2017, in Orem, Utah.
President Eyring, thank you again for your exemplary service and for such an effort to be with us with all of the demands that you have to share your insights with our graduating class. In place of Trustee Karen Acerson, I now invite First Vice Chair Trustee Duff Thompson to assist in awarding Keith Nellison an honorary doctorate of business. Keith, will you and Trustee Thompson please come forward?
Whereas Keith Nellison is a distinguished leader in business whose career has exemplified courage, insight, and leadership, and whereas he is a superb example of giving service and expertise to others, an example of wise business practices, and a noted leader of understanding consumer needs, and whereas, as the CEO of UVU, his passion for improving the lives of others has led him to employ scores of Utah Valley University graduates, and his personal interest in well-rounded student athletes has greatly helped in making a state-of-the-art basketball practice facility at UVU become a reality. And whereas he is the chairman of the UVU Autism Resource Council, and as such has greatly expanded resources and support for families and individuals in dealing with the challenges presented by autism, and whereas in tribute to the strength his family has demonstrated in facing the challenges and opportunities autism presents, he generously donated significant resources so that UVU could establish the Melissa Nellison Center for Autism in the Cole Nellison building, the ribbon cutting for which was held yesterday on May 3rd, 2017. And whereas he has been a friend and advocate of higher education of Utah Valley University, of students undertaking careers, and has partnered in so many ways to support university endeavors that benefit students and the community, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Utah Valley University hereby confers upon Keith Nellison the Honorary Doctorate of Business, realized this 4th day of May, 2017 in Orem, Utah.
Keith, we are indeed grateful for all of your contributions to the business community and the autism community and Utah Valley University. Thank you for being such a great example and a friend to this institution. I now invite Trustee Jack Sunderledge to assist in awarding Shirley Silversmith with an honorary doctorate of public service. Shirley, please come forward as we present your honorary degree. Excuse me, Jill Taylor is, no, you are, okay, good.
Whereas Shirley Silversmith is a noted administrator and distinguished leader of two cultures, important to the state of Utah, highlighted by her position as director of the Division of Indian Affairs within the Utah Department of Community and Culture, so named by the governor of the state. And whereas her academic milestones, including earning a Bachelor of Science degree in secondary education from Brigham Young University and a graduate degree in education from Arizona State University. And whereas her unique career working with Utah's Native Americans, her ability to forge partnerships across cultural lines, and her desire for higher education to help underserved populations has given her many opportunities to improve healthcare, increase economic stability, and promote a better understanding of her people. And whereas she has worked as a Learning for Life director, forging close relationships with the Boy Scouts of America and as Indian Education Specialist for the Utah State Office of Education. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Utah Valley University hereby confers upon Shirley Silversmith the Honorary Doctorate of Public Service, realized this 4th day of May 2017 in Orem, Utah.
I suppose this is an appropriate moment to explain that in honor of Shirley and the critical work that she stands for, I elected tonight not to wear the university's traditional presidential medallion. Instead, I'm wearing the medallion I recently received at the Native Wolverine Association's annual powwow. It was beaded for me by one of UVU's own Native students, Sean Snyder. Sean is a Navajo and Southern Ute from Iowa City, Iowa, majoring in art and visual communications. He explained to me in full ancestral custom he learned the beading skill from his aunt and designed the piece with the Native Wolverine Association's logo, along with colors that reflect the 4 sacred directions of his tradition, as well as lots of green for Wolverine pride. Sean, and Shirley in particular, you do inspire us with pride, especially in your efforts to be our partner in strengthening the Native student populations in our whole K-16 educational system, thereby promoting a more richly diverse cultural and academic community. In place of Trustee Thompson, now I invite Trustee Jill Taylor to assist in awarding J. Brent Wood an honorary doctorate of education. Brent, will you please come forward while Trustee Taylor presents your honorary degree?
Whereas J. Brent Wood has dedicated much of his life to increasing opportunities for children with autism, while still leading out as an attorney, a philanthropist, an educator, and a volunteer. And whereas he is dedicated to learning more about autism and sharing his knowledge with other families who are facing this family challenge, a challenge he has confronted in his own family. And whereas he founded Clear Horizons Academy, a state-of-the-art 10-acre campus dedicated as a learning center and a support to scores of families facing autism, many of whom may have limited resources. And whereas Brent and his wife Catherine have been generous supporters of Utah Valley University in numerous ways, including autism initiatives, scholarships, service on the UVU Autism Resource Council, and have generously provided a cornerstone gift for the university's Autism Study Center, the only one of its kind in Utah. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Utah Valley University hereby confers upon J. Brent Wood the Honorary Doctorate of Education, realized this 4th day of May, 2017 in Orem, Utah.
Thank you, Brent. I just have to note that yesterday was one of the most memorable days so far in my time here at UVU. We were overwhelmed with the community support, statewide interest, and emotional response of virtually every attendee as we cut the ribbon on the Cole Nelson building, which will serve as the gleaming new home for the Melissa Nelson Center for Autism. As noted, it's the only center of its kind in the state, a state which currently wrestles with the highest rates of autism in the country. This simply would not have happened without the resources, vision, and leadership of Keith Nellison and Brent Wood. They have done this and so much more to address one of our most pressing civic issues. This is, of course, on top of everything else they've achieved in their careers and community service that has had such an impact on this valley. Brent and Keith, on behalf of the institution and the valley at large, thank you for everything you both have done. And now, it's time for the main and highest purpose of tonight's proceedings, the presentation of student candidates for degrees. Jeffrey Olson, Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, will now join me to present the candidates for graduation.
I invite the candidates for Master of Business Administration, Master of Education, and Master of Science in Nursing degrees to please rise. Candidates, please remain standing as you are joined by the undergraduates. Candidates for Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Social Work, would you please rise? Candidates for Associate in Applied Science, Associate in Arts, Associate in Pre-Engineering, Associate in Science, Associate in Science in Business, and Associate in Science in Nursing. Would you please rise? Would all other candidates for diplomas, certificates of proficiency, and certificates of completion please stand? President Holland, on behalf of the faculty, I present the candidates for master, bachelor, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates. These candidates have completed all requirements for their respective degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and the faculty has approved their candidacy pursuant to the final completion of all of their requirements. President, I now recommend that the appropriate master, bachelor, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates be awarded to them.
Candidates, you have fulfilled all requirements for the appropriate master, bachelor, and associate degrees, diplomas, and certificates, and have been recommended by the faculty for graduation. By virtue of the authority vested in the Utah State Board of Regents and delegated by them to me, I hereby confer upon you the appropriate degree, diploma, or certificate. You may now move your tassels from the right to the left side of your mortarboard to indicate your graduation. While you graduates are still standing, I think this would be a marvelous opportunity for you to acknowledge your families, friends, and faculty with a round of applause for all of their support and encouragement. Class of 2017, please be seated and find employment. Again, congratulations on a job well done and honors rightly deserved. We hope this night will always serve as a source of inspiration and direction on your way to the bright futures and remarkable contributions that are now well within your grasp. To all of our guests this evening, I want to again express my thanks to you for gathering for this important celebration. As we close, may I ask all of the audience to remain seated as our platform guests exit the stage and begin the recessional. We then invite the graduates to join the recessional and ask the rest of the audience to please remain seated until all the graduates have left the arena floor. Thank you again for sharing this most wonderful moment with us, and good night.